Hey, welcome all. This is part 2 of user defined function. In the last part, I have discussed about how to declare user defined functions, what is their purpose, and what is the working process in C programming. It was divided into 3 steps: declaring a function, defining a function, calling a function. So while working with the function, we have finds that function can also return some value from its body to the calling function, and it can also take some inputs in the formation of arguments. So in this particular lecture, I'm going to cover how and what are the different ways we can working with user-defined functions in C programming with a combination of return types and list of parameters. Along with that, I also going to discuss the scope rules of parameters and the local variables inside the functions. There is a surprise at the end of the video, so please watch till the end of this video to know more about the C functions. Okay, so now let's proceed. So in the last example, we did not talk about much about the return type and list of parameters. We simply go with a simple definition of a function. We just write here return type, then name of the function, and then we have written list of parameters and the body of the function. So these are the things we have discussed in the last part. So now see, by combining this return type and the list of parameters, C programming supports total 4 different ways of working with user-defined functions. 4 different ways of working with user-defined functions. So let's see the first one. The first category is without any argument. So now without any argument means void. In the earlier part of the function, the last part of the lecture of function, I have told that if you do not want to pass any parameter, it should be empty. So if you want to specify no parameter, better to write void, because empty means something different. Although it is empty, we are not passing anything. It is also correct, but its actual meaning is different with respect to C standard. So you'll get to know what is the meaning of this empty parenthesis while declaring a function at the end of this video. So if you want to declare a function without any argument who doesn't going to take any input, better to make it void. As the declaration, void means nothing. And if you do not want to return any value, so without any argument, without any return values, then make the return type is void. So as I told, void means return nothing. Void means return nothing. So if you have a function which is not returning anything, neither is going to take any input as an argument from the calling function, better to make this function as a void type and also list of parameters as a void. So now look at the syntax. Look at the syntax. No return type means void. No arguments means void. Rest of the things remain same. So now look at in this code, we have 2 functions. One is main method, another is the get sum of digits. So main method, see there is a return type integer. So the last statement of the main method is return statement, returning an integer. But this particular function, get sum of digit, doesn't have any argument, neither it's return anything. So return type is void. Now see, there is no return statement. No return statement. Okay, so now let's see what this function will do. simple function I have taken. The function will be get called from the main method. So function is get called from the main method. Compiler will first check, is there any function declared in this particular file? So compiler look for the spaces above the main method. Above the main method. Yes, it is found that, yes, there is a function get sum of digit which doesn't take any argument, neither return anything. So that's why now when you call the function, the parenthesis should be empty. While calling the function. Okay, how it is satisfied? Because I have mentioned here void. So there is no return type. So that's why you can see there is no assignment operator. Neither I am taking any local variable which can hold the return value. So void means return nothing. So what simply it will do? It will simply give us the same program, same result that we discussed in the last part, sum of the digits. But here, if you do not want to give any input to the function, I need some number, then only it can be given the sum of digits. So input should be take care inside the function. So it is totally depend on our requirement. Do we need to pass the argument from calling function or not? If you no need to pass any argument, you should take care the input within the function. So now input is taken care inside the function. So input has been taken, and I have taken here while loop, which will take care the task sum of its digit. The very simple logic that I have written here. Initially, I have declared a variable sum and initialized to 0. And now what we are writing here, this statement is equivalent to this. You can note down. Is equivalent to this. So suppose I am entering a number here, 375. So what it will give me, initially sum is 0, 375, modulus 10, give me the remainder is 5. So the result is 5 as of now. And num equal to num by 10. So what nums now? 37. It has become 37. Loop will go up and check, is it greater than 0 or not? Yes, it is greater than 0. So this process will repeat. Again, I'll get the remainder and add it with the previous value of sum. So once my sum is over, I cannot return the value to the main method. Why? Because main method did not give me anything. Then why should I return to main method? Simple logic. Give and take policy. Main method give you something? No, then why should you return? So you need to take care of the output within the function. So this function, when function doesn't take any argument, when the function doesn't return any value, then input and output both will be taken care by the function. Take care by function itself. This is the type 1 user-defined function. Now let's see the second one. Same problem we're going to solve in 4 different ways. Same problem. Get the sum of digits. Now the condition is changed. Second category, with argument, but without return value. Without return value means no return type. Check the syntax, no return type. No return type means void. So here I declare the function as void. Now with argument. So the list of parameters or argument should be there. So now see, I want to check what? Get the sum of digits of a number. So only one input, correct? So here I am taking an integer number as an input. So parameter is written integer num. While you're declaring a function, this name is optional. Name of the parameter is optional. You can simply make this declaration like this way also. Void get sum of digits. We need to only mention type of the parameter. While declaring. Name, not a matter. You can ignore them. So now let us see from the main method. Right now we need to pass the argument to whom? To the called function. So main is the calling function, main is calling. Next. So now when main is going to pass the argument, so who will take care of the input? Main will take care of the input. Main will take care of the input. In earlier example, see, input output take care by function itself. Now we have introduced the arguments, so input will take care by the main method. So see, input operations I have done inside main. Next, we call the function, so it is not returning anything. So assignment operator is not required to hold the return value, not required. Why? Because no return type and it is void. So now see, I am passing the value of num. So this is called what? See, when we write any particular variable name inside the parenthesis, so what we are actually passing? We are passing the value of the variable. Passing the value of num as argument. Passing the value. So let's assume that we are given an input to the num through this scanf function 792, the number we have given as input. So what actually we are passing? We are passing here 792. So when function call get executed, it will jump to the body of the function along with the value 792. And it will be assigned to the parameter of the function. So now see, there is a parameter name as well as type. So when function is defined, then we need to specify the name as well as the type. Okay. So now type is integer. Why? Because I am passing 792 in the declaration, type is also mentioned integer. So type is integer. Again, another important point, note it down. Here you can see, while I declaring the function, I have taken a name num of the variable. And in the main method also, I am taking a variable name num. Similarly, while I define the function, it is also num. So do not get confused here that every time name of the variable should be kept same. No. No need. Let me show you this in the compiler. So here I'm going to take an input without any return type. Okay. So void fun. I want to take just an input from the calling function as an argument. Okay. So now let's define that function void fun. Okay. Now see here, while I declaring the function, there is no name has been given to the parameter, only type. Okay. So now when I define the function, type and name both should be there, because actually function argument gets memory when it's going to define the body of the function. What is the important point? Function, here I am writing, note down this point. Function arguments gets memory only when we define a function. So that's why at the time of declaration, name is not required. This is the most important point. Function argument gets memory only when we define. So that's why here name is important in the header part during the definition. So now name is required. Next, we're going to pass a value, correct? So now see, I'm declaring variable here in other name num and have some value 56. And now I call the function fun and I write num. Now see here, the name of the parameter of the function header is different. The name of the value that I am passing from the main is different. So this is the point I am telling. Although in this example, I have taken the same name in the declaration, in the definition, while passing the value, same name, but it is not required. You can give different name. Why? Because see, this num is what? It is a local variable, local to main only. And this is argument of the function, correct? So again, definitely it will be local to the function only. Here name of the function is get sum of digits. Okay, so now we are passing the number as an argument. So the now type of function is with argument. So that means input will be taken care by the calling function. Will take care the input calling function. Now we'll take care the output. Definitely there is no return type. So output will be taken care by the called function, by the called function. Same thing, same logic. You can check with the earlier code, same logic I have written. Only input has been given in the formation of parameter. Next point, please note down the next point. When we pass an argument from the calling function, it is called actual argument. And in the parameter of the function header, they are called formal argument. Why formal? Because these variables are temporary. Will be live into the RAM only during the execution of the function body. But actually what I am passing? I am passing the value of num. So the calling function take care of the actual arguments, and the called function have make them a new names in a different memory block. So they are the formal arguments. Okay, so now after the getting the sum of digits, it's just printed here. We cannot return. Why? Because of the void. So let us see into the compiler. Okay, so I simply just pass it here, correct? So now while let's take a should be greater than 0, and now I'm declaring a variable here. Okay, then sum equal to sum plus the particular number modulus by 10. So get the remainder here, and update the number a equal to a by 10. So quotient part will be saved here. Okay, so now let's try to return. What will happen now? It is void function. Let's try to return. So let's return sum. We'll see the error definitely. So let's try to hold it here. Run. See the error. Okay, check the console. Void value not ignored as it ought to be. So it is void. Then why should you use an assignment operator to hold its return value? It is void. Cannot return. Cannot return. Okay, so warning, return with the value in function returning void. Function is void, and you are returning. Okay, not allowed. Clear? Got the idea? Okay, so now let's go back. What I need to do here? No need this. Output will be taken care by the within the function. So instead of return, we need to print its value. So the output we can get. Now run. Now see, we pass 56, 5 plus 6 is 11, sum of digits. Okay, this is the type 2. Now let's see type 3 function. Okay, another example with the type 2. When we say with arguments, it is not necessary that we are passing only one argument. As in the last example, I am passing only one argument. We can pass any number of arguments as a comma separated. So now see, I have used a comma and I am passing two arguments. It is also not necessary that type of the argument should be same. So we can, please note down, we can pass any number of argument, and second point, type of arguments may same or not, no problem. So here and take care only two integer argument. You can also write this function like that: void get sum. First one is integer, second one is float. Okay, no issue. We can have two float, we can have any combination. So just remember these 2 points, it will be okay. Type of arguments may same or not a matter of concern. We can pass any n numbers of argument. Okay, so what we did here, again see return type is nothing, no return type. So now if you want to pass more than one argument, it should be comma separated arguments. So see, comma is there, comma separated arguments in the declaration. Okay, so here we are passing two numbers, and this function will just give me the addition of two numbers, the numbers we are passing. So now see, in the main method, we did not declare any variable. We are directly passing the constant values. It is also possible. What we need, these functions need only the values, two values. This function only need two values only. Okay, so 12 will be assigned to num1, 45 will be assigned to num2. It will follow the order. It become 12, it's become 45. So it will give me the answer 57. Okay. So now see the same point I have already highlighted. Name of the parameters are optional at declaration. See, I am passing two arguments, correct? So now here you can see only I have mentioned what? Type of argument. Types of argument is important. Types of arguments. Here name is not given. So I'll also get the same output, no problem. Because there no memory. There gets memory here. Memory allocated. When? At definition. Okay, so this is our declaration, step 1. This is our definition, step 2. This is our function calling, step 3. So now I hope the second category is clear. Now third category, without arguments and with return value. Now earlier, no return type with argument, now we change it. Now there is a return type, but no argument. So no argument means what? Void. No arguments, void. But return type, definitely return type should be there, and there are also return value. There are also return value. So each type should be same as the type I'm going to mention here. Should be same. They should be same. Also, we found what will happen. We have discussed in the last part of the video. Do not mismatch. Okay, so to discuss this, to understand this lecture, I would suggest you that please see the part 1 of user-defined function and types of data types in C programming and the structure of C programming, so that you can understand. So type 3, without argument, void. With return value, I want to return an integer. I want to return an integer. Very careful. C program cannot return multiple values from a function. So in some of the books, we will find returning multiple values. Without writing return statement, how can we claim return? They have implemented using a pointer, totally wrong. Pointer doesn't return anything. They're working on the same memory space. So we'll see that part. Function with call by reference after the pointer topic. Okay, so there will be many books you will find. They're claiming that C programs return in multiple values. No, return means with return statement. C program cannot return multiple values, only one values. So now it will return no parameter. If no parameter, now see what will happen. Input will take care by the called function. Input by the called function. So it will return. So output will take care by whom? By the calling function. By the calling function. Same thing. No argument, empty parenthesis while calling. Now it is return. So it will return. I need an assignment operator to assign the value with some variable inside the main. Some variable inside the main. Now, what type of value this function is returning? Integer type value. So, what type of variable we required inside the main? Integer type. So, here also, do not get confused. The name of the variable inside the function is sum. I am also taking the same variable name inside the main. No matter of concern. Let me show you in the compiler. Now it is return, correct? So, I am returning an integer. Now it is no argument. So, it should be void. Void. Okay, so now return type, it will take care. So we need an assignment operator, correct? Along with the variable. So here I'm writing C total equal to this. Output will be take care by the main method. So definitely we need a printf statement. Total of the digits, sum of the digits. Okay, it will save in the total variable. Be careful, the naming conventions. C programming, uppercase and lowercase meaning totally different. The case sensitive language. Now see, variable declared sum, which is going to hold the summation of digits inside the fun. But here in the main method, I did not take the same name, different name. So they are in different scope. Two person in two different room, two different family, two variable in two different block. So they can be same name, they can be different name, hardly matter, but they are not the same person. They are not the same variable. So output will take care of the main method. So there is no output, but return statement should be there. It will return me the integer, correct? So int. So now return. Return sum. Run. Some issue. Too many arguments to fun. Okay, too many arguments. What is the type we are discussing? Without argument. Okay, without argument. So without argument means input will take care by the main method. So no input is required. So now see, I have mentioned void, and when I'm passing the argument, I'm getting this error. Too many arguments. You'll get this error when number of parameters in the declaration and number of parameters that you are passing while calling, they are mismatched. We'll get this kind of error. Too many arguments. You are passing more number of arguments, but it is not mentioned in the declaration. So in declaration, it is void. Earlier, I'm passing the value of a num, so I'm getting the error. Too many. Empty versus one. Too many. So now I need to take care of the input here. So there is no parameter. So let's make it void. Void, no parameter. So now let's declare a variable now and also take input. So I'm just writing the scanf statement for taking the input. Run this. Now what is the case? Okay. Printf statement percentage %d is missing. Now run. Oh, what happened? Okay, the variable is taken here sum, and the input has been taken to num. Okay, num. And now let's change the name num, num, num. Okay, waiting for the input. So let's give the input here. 550. Okay, let me open the numlock. 550. Okay, 5 plus 5 is 10. Correct? We print the output from the main method. So what is the type 3 category? Without argument. Okay, without argument means input will be taken care by whom? By the called function. And with return value means output will take care by the calling function. Easiest way to remember. So I hope type 3 is clear. Now the last category, mix all, returning as well as argument. Returning as well as argument. So with arguments and with return value. So with argument means input will take care by whom? Calling function will take care the input. Okay. With return value. So output will also take care by whom? Calling function. It is the opposite of first category. It is the opposite of first category. Let's go back to the first category. See, in the first category, input and output take care by the function, called function. Input and output will be take care by the function itself. So now case 4 is the opposite of this. Yes, case 4 is the opposite of this. Input and output both will take care by whom? The calling function, main method. So now return type should be there and the list of comma separated arguments. If there is only one argument, then only one parameter. If there is more number of arguments, there should be comma separated. Okay, so now see, we have given the input as an argument and this function will return me a value. So definitely I need the same type which is going to be returned by the function, same type. See, they have matched. Same type in the declaration, they have also matched. So this thing should be matched. Sum. What is the type of sum? Okay, mismatch. One line is missing here. I forget to declare that function here. Just typing error. Declare the variable this. Sum variable is missing. So write this line. Int sum before the loop equal to 0. Else we'll get an error. Sum is not declared. Okay. So now see it is declared. So now its type also should be same. So they should be always same. Okay, so add this line before while loop, then this code will work. Because we are using this variable without declaring it, so error, no? So that's why declaration is required. I just forget to declare it. So now we are returning a value sum. What type of value? Integer. So I need something which can hold the return value. So assignment operator is used while calling the function, and the value going to save into the sum, and we are going to print out it from the main method. Going to print out from the main method. So here input is take care by the main and output is also take care by the main. So output will take care by the main only when you return something. Return something. Okay, so these are the points that I have highlighted here. So these are the 4 categories of functions. I hope you understand. Now let's see. Scope of parameters and variables inside function. Scope of parameters and variables inside functions. Okay, so let's see this code first, then we'll discuss. Okay. I want to share one important information while we working with the function. Your code can have one function or many function. Main method is also a function, correct? So when you're working with function, it is also true for main, correct? In the RAM, when the code exe get loaded, main method will get a different memory scope. So suppose I'm considering this is my RAM. Okay, I'm considering this is my RAM, correct? So all the methods, it is user defined or main functions, they always get a different memory block from which location they will get the memory for the local variables and the parameters. Okay, so as of now, if this is considered my RAM, so let's partition it first. I'm assuming that this block is reserved for main method. Okay, so my program execution started from this point. Inside the main, I have declared two variables, num1, num2. So what is this num1, num2? They are local variable. So let's allocate 4 byte of memory, num1, sorry, num2, sorry, just a minute, let me just erase. Okay, so the name is num1 and here the name is num2. Two block has been reserved. The size of each block will be here 4 byte because they are declared as integers, 4 bytes. So what is their value? It is 10 and it is 20. They have initialized here. Okay. Next, it just print this before swapping from main. Okay, I want to swap the values of these two variables. I want to swap. I want 20 should be in num1, 10 should be in num2. So let's see. So it prints this line and it also prints their value as an output. What it will print? It will print me 10 and 20, num1 equal to 10. Yes, we can see num1 is 10 inside main and num2 is 20. Okay, next. Now we call the function swap. See, function return nothing. Function return nothing here. So that's the return type is void. Void. And it has two arguments, num1, num2. What is their type? Num1 is also integer, num2 is also integer, correct? I'm using comma during the declaration, so we can declare multiple variables and initialize them in the same statement as a comma as a separator. You need to use in between them. So num1, num2 both are integer. So here you can see the parameter type is also integer. So we have already discussed this point. The parameter name in the formal arguments and parameter name in the actual arguments, they might be same, might be different, hardly matter of concern. Only thing is that the type should be same. So a type is same, so there is no compile time error. So it is calling the function, correct? So let's jump to that particular function. So it is going with two values, 10, 20. So 10 has been allocated to num1 and 20 has been allocated to num2. Now see, swap is another function. So definitely swap will get a different memory block, not the same memory block of main, different memory block. So in the swap also we have what? We have two variables as an argument. So now they get memory. So here is also we have num1, here is also we have num2. What is their value? We are passing it from the main method 10, 20. 10, 20 we have passed. See, two different memory block, two different room. Next, so let's see. It's going to print this line and it is also going to print their values of num1, num2. It also print me num1 equal to 10, num2 equal to 20. Next, here I have declared a variable called temp. So let's declare another variable temp. Temp, okay. What is its value? Num1. It is initialized to num1. Num1 of what? Num1 of local variable. Do not consider num1 of main method, local variable. Do we have a local variable? Yes, as an argument. So its value has been kept it here, 10. Both of the memory block now have the same values, 10, 10. Next, num1 equal to num2. Which num1? The argument, local variable, num1 equal to num2. So num2's values has been going to kept here. So the 10 will be updated by 20. Next line, num2 equal to temp. So what is temp? Temp is 10. So temp is coming here. So now num2 is updated by 10. So here you see values are swapped, but in which part values are swapped? Inside the swap function. You can check the memory block of main. It is not swapped. It is remain as it is, untouched. Because why? Because see, when you call the function, what we are passing? We are passing the values only. So now when you print inside the function, it prints me num1 equal to 20 and num2 equal to 10. Why? Because within the function it is get swapped. Now, when I coming back to the same line from where I have jumped to the body of the function, immediately that particular memory block which is created for due to the function call, it will be erased from RAM. Erased from RAM. That particular memory block will be erased. When we are returning from the function. Here we do not have return method statement, but still we reach the closing curly brackets, means body of the function is completed. So I need to return back to the calling function. So this particular memory block will be erased. So now not a matter of concern what we have done inside the function. Now it is erased, nothing is there. So now I am printing the values of num1, num2 after the function call from main method. So which one will refer? Local. So what is the value of num1 inside the main? It remains still 10 and num2 still 20. So now see, swapping has been done within the body of function only. Within the body of function only, but not outside of the function. Why? So this will be our output. See, before swapping the function, before calling the swap function, and after execution of the swap function, inside main their values will be remain same. But inside the function, when function get called first time, their values are 10 and 20, and after swapping, their values become 20 and 10. Okay, so some mistakes in the output. Is it? Let us see. Yeah. Okay, so we get the output it like that. So let us discuss. See, let us see. Now the output. Okay, we started from this line before swapping from main. Okay, see, before swapping from main, it prints me the value 10 and 20. Yes, 10 and 20. So now function call get executed. Value received inside function. Here you can see value received inside function 10 and 20. That line 10 and 20. Fine. This particular 3 line get executed. Now after swapping from function, it prints me 20 and 10. So now this 2 line output is belongs to function. This is from swap function. Now after swapping from main, so once the execution is over, I'm coming back here. After swapping, it prints me 10 and 20 again. What is there before swapping, before the calling of swapping? So what did you understand? We understand here that parameters are used within the function. They get a different memory block. Whatever the variables that we have inside main, they cannot be accessed from the function. And what are the variables we have inside the function, they cannot be used from the main. So their scope are limited within the body of function. Their scope are limited within the body of the function. So what is the scope of parameters? Scope parameters within the function. And variables inside functions, same within the function. Temp is a local variable, so cannot be used from main. So now question is that why values are not swapped? As we have already identified, why values are not swapped? Because swapping done in the local scope. That's why values are not swapped. And another reason, here we pass the parameter by value. We are passing the parameter while calling the function parameters by value. So no change. While you passing the parameters by value, no change, because they get different memory block. So main method do not know what is happening here. Swap function also no idea what is happening here. They're simply calling each other. How they're going to perform the job, no idea. Okay, so see the points I have highlighted here. Here parameters num1, num2 is passed as value. Okay, here they passed as value. Scope of main and swap is different in RAM. So I have drawn that picture earlier. You can see, yes. scope of main and swap functions, they are different in RAM while executing the code. Every function gets its own memory space and argument gets memory location from the reserved memory space of the function. So this num1 and num2 gets memory from the reserved memory block allocated to the function. This is the done in the figure as well. See, num1, num2 and temp, they gets the memory from the reserved memory space for swap. The parameters num1 and num2 of swap gets memory from the area reserved for swap. So changes of values are done within the memory block of swap only. So that's why changes will not reflected outside. Changes will not reflect outside of swap. What is the reason? The reason is this passed by value, argument passed by value. So I hope you understand this concept. Very interesting fact. So now I am telling you that some surprise is there for you. So here is the surprise. Now I'm going to tell you what is the meaning of the empty parenthesis. Read this line. Empty parenthesis in declaration, empty parenthesis in declaration means any number of parameters we can pass while calling the function. Any number of parameters we can pass while calling the function. So two parameters are passed. Let's see in the compiler. I'm not joking here. Empty parenthesis, correct. I'm calling the function, I'm passing three values over here. Okay, so let's just take care of this. So three values we are passing, so we need to modify the definition. So modifying the definition. Three values I am passing. Okay, next. I simply want to return the addition of them. So I'm just simply returning num1 plus num2 plus num3. It will print me the total. So empty parenthesis doesn't means no parameter. Empty parenthesis means any number of parameter we can pass. Run. See, we get the output 23 plus 45 plus 67, 135. We can pass two parameters, yes. Two parameters. Run. Can we pass two different types of parameters? Let us try. Now I'm passing 45.5f along with float. So let's modify it to float. Now, where addition between integer and float, so expression going to be promoted to float type, always higher data type. So return type should be float. Return type should be float. And here I'm going to print the value. It should be also f as a format specifier. Okay, now see. What it is saying. Warning, format percentage of expect argument type double, but argument 2 has integer type. See what is happening now. When we say there is any number of parameter we can pass, what is the default thing compiler is doing? Default thing is doing that only integer. Only integer. So compiler by default making a implicit declaration as both the parameter as integer. It is saying, but argument 2 has integer type, but we are passing a floating point type. Okay, just a minute, not this case, just a minute. Here, see the return value is floating type, so we should make it float. Float. Run. See, this error is take care, but now look at the warnings. An argument type that has a default promotion cannot match an empty parameter name list declaration. So, which is default? Default means only integer for the functions. But what you are doing? We are doing an integer and we are doing one float. So not allowed. If you want to make it, you have to specify it. Now, okay. But if you do not want to make it, only integer. Leave them. Make it integer. 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 So no parameter, default is integer, no issue. Previous declaration of fun was here. Okay, the problem, the return type is I did not change. Integer. Okay, see, get the output. Okay, so what is the fundamental point? Very interesting fundamental points. The first point is that, first point, if, okay, please note down, if parentheses are empty, parenthesis is empty, then we can only pass any number of integer arguments. If we try to pass, if passing any other type will raise an error. So only integer. Pass any numbers of integer type. So you should take care of this. Integer, 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 and expression type also should be integer. Parameter integer. Very, very interesting fact, correct? I hope you understand this concept. Empty parenthesis mean. If you mean no parameter, make it void. Make it void. Okay. So actually C programming supports passing the parameter into two different ways. What are the examples we have discussed till the last code? It is passing by values. So changes will not reflect outside of the functions. There is another way that we can pass the parameter to the function, passing by address or reference or pointer. So we're going to discuss this topic after pointer, not now. After pointer, we'll discuss it. So next topic, I'm going to give you the idea, how can we use various operators along with the function call, arithmetic operators with function call. We can also use, how can we use a function call within the if, else, and switch case. We're also going to see how to use a function call within the loop. Okay, so by then, enjoy this, whatever I have covered, read this, noted down the important points, and give me a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe this particular channel and share the video between your friends. Those are learning now C programming.